We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we have a very important story to cover by none other than a company known as Matrixport. Now, until this morning, I had never heard of this company by the name of Matrixport, but apparently they are a financial services firm here in the cryptocurrency space, and they just made a name for themselves and got a ton of free advertising with what I can tell to be very contradictory reports that so far have led to $537 million in Bitcoin long liquidations and a $3,000 drop on Bitcoin. Unfortunately, this major correction did not need to happen because nothing has actually occurred that has changed fundamentally today. That's right. The ETF has not been denied. We still don't have an answer on whether the ETF has come or not. But nevertheless, we've had a massive crash on Bitcoin, which has cost a lot of people that I will admit were probably over-leveraged quite a lot of money. And today, we're going to be talking about why that correction happened, why it didn't need to happen, but why it actually ended up being one of the best things that could happen to the Bitcoin chart. We've got a lot to cover today, so let's go ahead and jump straight on into the reading of the chat. Sorry, I was pulling up something and I had a very interesting little agreement by none other than Matrixport. We'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, we've got Satchet321 in chat, Elijah R, Joe Bollier, Paul Torelli, Alex Nibo, Marley 120, Thirst, Ocast, Sweet, Ben a Bear 12 said grand day, Jeb. Grand day to you as well. Josh Denham, Crypto Degen, Solitary Crypto, Ocas again, Mattis S, Clay Dupont, Bob Riley, Conrad Deneve, the French Toast Breakfast Club, Crypto Maxi, Dioraj Patirum, cool name, Pat B, Queen, Oser Croire? I'm going to call you Croire. I'm sorry, I probably butchered that. Grand Roofing Incorporated, his boy Elroy, RJ, Queen, Juan Ruiz, Sarah Oladukan, Richard Harrington, Pew Pew Poom 2, Easy, Solitary Crypto, Clay, Goodness Gracious, CBD Study, Power, Henry K, Carlos Meija, Wow Toys, Let's Play, Passive Income with AI. All right, I think I got everybody. I'm sorry, there's so many of you guys today. We just got started. I've already got 400 people in chat today. I need to make something crystal clear because something has not been made very clear by the media. And being a member of the media, I want to make something very clear. We do not yet have an approval or a denial. We do not have an answer from the Securities Exchange Commission yet. We have, however, dropped $3,000 because somebody opened their mouth and everybody started reporting on it, and we're going to talk about that today. Before we get started, I do first want to let you guys know that today's episode of Coffee and Crypto Live is brought to you by none other than NordVPN. While NordVPN cannot protect you from a random company setting a random note out that causes $537 million in long liquidations, that would be unfair. They can protect you from getting hacked. Make sure that you sign up for NordVPN with the link in the description box down below, and you are going to be investing in security architecture that is going to help you to browse the internet freely and safely. That right there sounds a whole lot like the mission of crypto, doesn't it? Absolutely. That's why I love that NordVPN has decided to sponsor our channel. Make sure to check them out. The link down below with a massive discount to boot. Let's get started. We're going to read from a couple of articles here because there's quite a lot of quotes I want to read. And I want to show you how they don't line up. How they're one day apart, and they just don't line up. You're going to have to follow along with me on this. SEC will reject all Bitcoin ETFs in January, says Matrixport. This right here is the culprit. Culprit of what? Culprit of this. $537 million in long liquidations took place in 1 short hour on Bitcoin. And that is a couple of things. Number one, it's very sad because the people that were in those massive longs probably should not have been on so much leverage, probably should have had tighter stop losses, probably should have been being a little bit safer. A lot of people get very prideful with longing and leverage, not longing, but with leverage when the market just goes on a tear, and that can end up becoming their downfall. So the people that got liquidated should not have been liquidated. There's never a reason to be liquidated in crypto. I love you, so I'm gonna make that very clear. There's never a reason that we should ever need to get liquidated in crypto. We should always have a stop loss. Always, 100% of the time, we should always have a stop loss. Getting stopped out, that's part of trading. Getting liquidated is a complete, just non-necessity. It just never needs to happen. Nevertheless, it did happen, and many of these people were not expecting Bitcoin to do this. You can see it from outer space. Bitcoin dropped over $3,000 in the span of just a couple of hours. Almost $5,000 in 2 hours, actually. I was understating it a little bit. We dropped all the way from $45,400 all the way down to $40,600. And funnily enough, this level right here is actually a level that I didn't put on the chart today. We actually drew this level at $40,627 yesterday. If you'll go back on yesterday's stream, actually it may have been there from several days ago, we drew this level as one of the first stops that Bitcoin would take if it were to correct, because it was a level that we had tested multiple times in past, and it also coincided with the CME futures gap right down here. The CME futures gap starts at about 40,530. We haven't dropped that far on CME futures, but you can see right here, the top of the CME futures gap, 40,500 or so. That is one of the reasons why we had this level here. This is we literally went exactly to this level. It's so fun when we do some technical analysis, and then it just comes true like this. If we just zoom in here, we drew the level on Coinbase at 40,627. Bitcoin dropped to 40,625. It's just, I love that. I love technical analysis. It's such a beautiful art form. Nevertheless, we've got a little bit of a whodunit. Whodunit? Matrixport, that's whodunit. And also all the people that should have been covering themselves with with stop losses. So, you know, there's a lot of blame to go around if we want to play it that way. But let's back up. Let's read a little bit about the report that actually caused this drop. And then let's do a little bit of digging into the past. And let's read what some of the reports from Matrixport said yesterday. Okay? All right. We got a little bit of drama today. Somebody call Keemstar. We got drama going on in crypto. SEC will reject all Bitcoin ETFs in January, says Matrixport. Let's get ready for this. In the latest Matrix report, see what they did there? Why the SEC will reject Bitcoin spot ETFs again. Analysts predict that all applications for spot Bitcoin ETFs could receive approval in the second quarter of 2024. Again, this is a direct quote from Matrix report. I'm sorry, no, this is a paraphrase of what they are talking about. Kind of their thesis. Why analysts predict that all applicants for a Bitcoin spot ETF could receive approval in the second quarter of 2024, so later, not right now. As a result, the Bitcoin price will fall down to $36,000 to $38,000 in January, and recommend that investors buy put options or even sell Bitcoin directly. So they directly recommended selling Bitcoin, which, I mean, I suppose, considering the news crashed the market, that makes sense. Experts also recall that the 5-member commissioner leadership, which is critical of the ETF approval, is dominated by Democrats. Moreover, the head regulator, Gary Gensler, does not support cryptocurrencies in the United States, and it may not even be easy to expect him to vote to approve spot Bitcoin ETFs. Here is a direct quote from Matrixport's report. From a political perspective, there is no reason to approve a Bitcoin spot ETF that would legitimize Bitcoin as an alternative store of value. Since traders started betting on an ETF approval in January 2023, at least $14 billion of extra fiat and leverage have been deployed into crypto. There's several points I want to make here. First and foremost, if you'll remember when I said that you don't need $300 billion to move the market $300 billion, that's what I'm talking about. Since September, and they're right, there's a lot of things they got right here. It's just kind of funny, the timing. Since that time in September, we have seen market capitalization on Bitcoin go from roughly $500 to roughly $850 billion. And I believe that their number is right about on here, about $14 billion of extra fiat. We've managed to move the market by a couple $100 billion, over $300 billion, on a couple tens of billions of dollars of fiat. When we see the ETF approved and we see tens and tens and tens and tens and tens of billions of dollars of fiat coming in, should we not expect a much larger rally than we've already seen? I would say so. Just a side note, but I thought I'd throw that in there because a lot of people think you need $1 of investment to move the market $1, and you don't. Oftentimes, $1 can move the market $50. It just depends on where the buys and the sells are. If you're enjoying today's stream, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We got a lot to cover today, so we're going to keep on moving. Now, I also want to talk about the other component of their argument here. From a political perspective, there is no reason to argue that a Bitcoin spot ETF would legitimize Bitcoin as an alternative store of value. There's no reason for them to approve it. Yes, I would agree with this. There is not much of a reason for the SEC to approve a Bitcoin ETF in their own interest other than the fact of PR. I believe that Gary Gensler is playing a PR game here, and he realizes that he is losing that bad. Gary Gensler is in the height of his career right now. You don't go higher than being the chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission. It doesn't happen. That is the highest level that you can expect to get anywhere in the stock market, anywhere in regulation, having anything to do with the stock market. That is essentially like becoming the president if you're in politics. He's in finance. That's a little bit like becoming the president because you don't go on and do something bigger than the presidency. There is nothing bigger than the presidency. This is his legacy that he's building right now. And right now, his legacy is a lot of, we don't like you. That's what's going down in the history textbooks right now. People do not like Gary Gensler. And I bet you he does not like that. And so I believe that Gary Gensler is trying to play a certain game to figure out, how do I not look so bad? And how do I also prevent the SEC from looking bad? Because that also is a part of his job, is to keep the SEC in good standing. Because if the entire public turns their back on the SEC, then they start to have to call into question their entire mandate, their entire reason for being. Because remember, the entire SEC is dependent on Congress, and Congress, unlike the SEC, is actually elected. Gary Gensler, I believe, realizes that it is an effort in futility to not approve the Bitcoin ETFs. I believe Gary Gensler realizes that whether he approves the Bitcoin ETFs or not, the next administration almost certainly will be forced to, if they're not already in that position where they're basically forced to approve the Bitcoin ETFs because of popular demand and because of the pressure from, I don't know, one of the largest financial giants on the planet, BlackRock. An approval is coming. The SEC realizes that that is inevitable. So I believe, personally, based on things that Gary Gensler has said, based on the way that humans think, and based on, previous actions from other regulators related to the SEC, that they will approve the ETFs before Gary Gensler leaves office here in about a year, and they will do it so that they can be the ones to actually set how the ETFs will be put into play. We've seen this happen quite a bit recently, where we had the SEC sit down with BlackRock and multiple of the other filings and decide that we're not going to be doing in-kind redemptions. Instead, we're going to be doing cash redemptions. They're working on all those little particulars that Gary Gensler and the chair and the commission care about, because they realize that if they are the ones to approve it, then they get to set the rules. Then the next administration that comes in, by the way, when a new president is elected, it is basically, it's not mandatory, it's customary that the chair will step down and the new president incumbent will, the new president, even if the president is an incumbent, will appoint a new chair. So Gary Gensler has about a year in office, and so I think it's in his best interest to go ahead and approve the ETFs and set the rules the way that he wants them now, because he knows it's going to happen eventually anyway. It is completely undeniable that an ETF is coming. It would be asinine to think that it's never going to happen at all. Let's move on here, though, because I want to really dig into what Matrixport says here, because there's a lot of nonsense. Oh, goodness. It's not even so much nonsense, because I actually agree with what they're saying. I just think there's a bit of hypocrisy going on. However, despite such prospects, experts still expect further growth in the price of Bitcoin. And that's fair. I want to give them that. They do expect that there's going to be growth in the price of Bitcoin. The two main catalysts for the cost of Bitcoin by the end of the year are the U.S. presidential election and the Bitcoin halving. This is true. Now, let's also back out a little bit, and let's talk about another report that I have on my desk right here. And now you'll see why I've got a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. This is a report from yesterday. This is not from a month ago. This is a report from yesterday. I want to point something out. Both of these reports, this one that I'm about to read, which is just a review of the note from Matrixport, and this note that I just read, came out almost exactly 2 days apart. This note came out today. It's in a different time zone, so it says it's 1:54 p.m. January 3rd. That hasn't happened yet where I am, but this has just come out relatively recently. And when this report came out, this was before Bitcoin had really crashed. Both of the notes that I'm reading you, the one that I just read you and the one that I'm about to read you, were both written and released right at the time that Bitcoin was sitting up here above $45,000. It's not like they had any new information to go off of here. They're just two completely contradictory reports. Bitcoin price could hit $50,000 by weekend, Matrixport said. Bitcoin's looming supply crunch coupled with institutional interest may fuel its price breakthrough. Again, same company. Both of them from Matrixport. And I didn't quite catch it, but when I clicked over here, I can't get it to show up again, but there was a non-solicitation agreement. And I'm really wondering if it was some agreement to say, oh, you can't look at our website and use it on, I don't know. So here's their website. I'll show you because it's the internet and I'm free to do whatever I want on that regard. But I think I'll just avoid this for right now because I don't really want to catch a lawsuit. Anyway, over here, Matrixport is quoted as saying, institutional investors cannot afford to miss out on any potential rally again and therefore have to buy immediately when the markets open for trading in 2024. We expect an immediate rally that once again catches investors off guard. At the same time, a day later, I read these backwards chronologically. This happened first. This is a January 2nd note. This is not just reported on January 2nd. This is a note that came out on January the 2nd. If you want to read it, it's over here. They have it on their website. It's right here. You can pause. You can read it if you want. Monday, January 1st, 2024, where that article was, it was January 2nd. Time zone difference. Jumped to $50,000. Here, they say we expect an immediate rally that once again catches investors off guard. You can see it in this report right in here. You can pause and you can read it if you want. Okay? Institutional investors cannot afford to miss out on any potential rally again and therefore have to buy immediately when the markets open for trading in 2024. We expect an immediate rally that once again catches investors off guard. Well, wait a minute. Didn't we just read over here that they are recommending that investors buy put options or even sell Bitcoin directly? I have never seen such a good example of hedging your bets in the history of investment, and I'm a crypto YouTuber for crying out loud. Listen, I want to make something very clear. There is a correct way to go about making two predictions, up or down, and there is an incorrect way of making a prediction about going up or down. Here's the correct way of doing it. It is absolutely correct, and I would say it would be irresponsible to do anything but this. It is absolutely correct for an analyst, which I am an analyst. It is absolutely correct for an analyst to say it can go up, it can go down, it can go sideways, and these are the scenarios that may lead us to the upside. These are the scenarios that may lead us to the downside. These are the scenarios that may lead us to trade sideways. This is a scenario that could cause us to break bullish out of this pattern and go up. This is a possibility of where we could break this resistance or break this support and then fall to the downside. It is absolutely vital that an analyst outline all of the different possibilities. Then it is important for the analyst to state what they believe is going to happen. And it gets to being irresponsible when you, with the exact same information, say that you believe that two different things are going to happen. Because then you're double-minded. Let me be clear on something. If 3 days have passed and you have had new information come in, for example, yesterday, we were talking about how $45,800 was nice, but Bitcoin had only rallied $1,000 above the local high. That's a little bit suspect. We needed to see several more days of rally, and I was concerned about a drop. I was concerned that Bitcoin had not broken $3,000 or $4,000 above the resistance. It had only broken a little bit above the resistance. Felt like it was a little overextended to me. Felt like it hadn't had the strength from the bulls that it really needed. I was excited about it, though. I was generally leaning bullish. Now, in light of new information, we've had a $4,700 drop. Yes, I'm a little bit more bearish. We'll talk about what my stance is right here in a minute. The point is, an analyst, Matrixport being the analyst, need to say these are the possible scenarios. So I understand saying this is how it could go to 36 to 38. This is how it could go to 50K by weekend. These are different scenarios. The issue comes when you recommend investors to do two competing things with the exact same set of information. And that's what we're seeing right here. Recommending investors buy put options or even sell directly, and then on the exact same, just a day and a half earlier, say institutional investors cannot afford to miss out on any potential rally again, and therefore have to buy immediately when the market's open for trading. It's possible that what they're saying here is that they expect that the investors feel the pressure that they have to buy immediately. But coming from a very institutional, a very official research and analytics firm, you have to be very careful with your language, because when you read something like this, you are inclined to believe that they're saying you have to buy immediately. That might not be exactly what they're trying to say here, but that's what it reads as. It is very easy to misinterpret what they're trying to say here as you have to buy immediately when markets open for trading in 2024. After all, have to buy immediately when markets open for trading in 2024 is what is said. This is a full sentence. There's a capital I on institutional, and there's a period right here. Institutional investors cannot afford to miss out on any potential rally again, and therefore have to buy immediately when the market's open for trading in 2024. Full stop. And then they go on to say, we expect an immediate rally that once again catches investors off guard. How do you not read that as a command to go buy Bitcoin? And the very next day, we get news coming out that they are quite confident that the ETF will be denied and we will see the price drop to 36 to 38. What gives? Do you see why this gets on my nerves a little bit? We've got to get a little... We've got to be careful, guys. Okay, so let's be very, very careful. Let's be very, very, very careful here. Because I want to just parse out everything. I want to make sure that we are calling nonsense where it's nonsense. And I want to make sure that we are being fair when we are fair. A lot of people saying they're here from George. Shout out to George. I was just watching his stream when I saw this. We need to call things fair where they're fair and call them unfair when they're unfair. It is fair to say that two different things can happen. It is unfair with the exact same information within 24 hours to give investors two completely different outlooks. It is not fair to say buy one day and then sell the next day when things have not changed. If something has changed, then fine. As analysts, we need to be very quick and humble enough that we can change our entire stance at the drop of a hat if we've got information to the contrary of what we originally believed. We must be humble enough to change our deepest rooted beliefs about cryptocurrency and about the markets in the light of new evidence. We must. It's absolutely critical. If you're not doing that, you will fail. You will fail in cryptocurrency. It is wrong. And I do my very best to never put myself in this position to tell you to do two different things at the exact same time, because then you're darned. Well, actually, that's not a curse word when you use it that way, because it's talking about damned to hell. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's not a curse word in that sense. It's not. That's not a curse word. It's not. I don't curse. But you're up a creek one way or the other. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place. There's all kinds of different phrasing that you can use for that. But the point is, you can't win. Okay? So, I got a bone to pick also with Gensler. So let's pick a bone with Gensler. I'll pull my soapbox out and step up on this for a few minutes, and I promise we'll get into some technical analysis, and I'll take my Jim Cramer hat off. Gary Gensler's trying to cover his butt right now, I believe. I think he's trying to cover his butt because he realizes he's got some very, very, very angry cryptocurrency investors, very, very angry people that are trying to make investments in cryptocurrency after him right now. And I think he realizes that the only way to protect his name and his reputation, which is going to go in the history books, is to go ahead and approve the ETFs at some point before he resigns next year, and to go ahead and approve them, and then he and his commission can set the actual rules. I still believe, to be very clear, that we will see a Bitcoin approval. Is it possible that we see a denial? Yes, and this is something that Matrixport got totally right. All right, fair is fair. My dad taught me when I was very young, you're right, you're right, you're wrong, you're wrong. If you are right and somebody's calling you wrong, I will defend you. But if you're wrong, I'm sorry, you're wrong. Right? I'll make sure you're treated fairly, but if you're wrong, period. If you're right, period. And that's the way I like to look at life. Something Matrixport did get right is that there are political motivations against approving the Bitcoin ETF. There is a lack of an obvious incentive to approve the ETF. I think that there are incentives, although you might have to think about it a little bit. And there are plenty of reason to believe that it may not happen right away. It might not happen before January 10th, but I do think that it'll happen this year. Because I do believe that Gary Gensler wants to get that thing approved before he leaves office. He would never tell you that, but I do think that's what's going to happen. We're going to read chat here for just a second, and then we are going to do some technical analysis and look at where the market will go next. If you're enjoying today's stream, make sure to go ahead and smash that like button. We've got 1,300 people watching live, only 230 likes. Let's see if we can't get up to 500 likes. Really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. We've got some kind of nonsense going on in the news today. If you haven't heard about it, it's coming out of Matrixport. And it's not even because they made the one call. It's not because of the one call that led to this drop. That's not what gets on my nerves. That's not what is under my skin right now. What's under my skin is the very day before they made that call, they told people that it'll be $50,000 by weekend and you must buy immediately. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. We knew this was going to happen when Cramer said he was bullish. Oh, Jim Cramer, the financial meme of our time. Okay. Trump already said he'll appoint Hester Pierce for SEC chairman. Yeah, I think he will. He probably will. Deepfake Solana ads running on the stream. Please be careful of that, guys. We've got a lot of scams running around cryptocurrency right now. We don't want any of that. Hashtag buy the dip. Love it. If the ETF... Listen, guys. If the ETF does get denied... Listen, guys. If the ETF does get denied... Good. I hope it goes to 36 to 38. I hope. Listen, I've been in crypto for 6 years. I hope on that 6 years of experience that we see Bitcoin drop down to $31,800. I hope so badly that we drop down to $36,000, down to $31,800. I hope that happens so that we can get entries down there. I would love to load up bags at September and October's prices. I would love that. I've got a pretty good average cost basis in my portfolio. I'm pretty happy about where I've got into much of the positions that I'm in right now. But what I will tell you is I would love to get even more down there. I love this correction. I hope it lasts through Friday when I do my dollar cost averaging. I love that I might be able to get Cardano at 55 cents. I love that I might be able to get Solana at $98. And on that note, let's go ahead and look at CoinMarketCap. Got a lot of things to crack open here. Bitcoin's trading at $42,470. It's down 1% in the last 7 days. Keep in mind, we just basically eradicated the rally that we put into play like 3 days ago. We're back to where we were 3 days ago. All right, this is not that big of a correction. Let's. Many of you guys said you were coming from George. If you came up from George's stream, I watched the stream for a couple minutes before I went live, and he was talking about how there's been 20 to 40% corrections all throughout the history of Bitcoin in the bull markets, and that's absolutely true. Corrective movements like this happen all the time. This is nothing that we should be freaked out from. You cannot see this drop from out here on the weekly chart. If you zoom out, you can barely see it on the daily chart. How many times have we corrected massively? 20% drop right there. 21% drop right there. 21% drop right there. Bitcoin has built a history of 20% drops in cryptocurrency. You know where that would bring us? Right back down to what Matrixport report said of 36 to 38. So another place where I actually agree with Matrixport. And that's the thing you know what? That's something that gets even more on my nerves about this. A lot of their analysis is actually spot on. 36 to 38, I agree with that zone. Why? I just showed you. We've got a trend in this bull market so far of 20 to 24% drops. 20 to 22% drops. That's our trend. Technical analysis necessitates that we look at the market through the lens of trends. In 2016-17, it was more like 35 to 40% drops. But of course, we're a more mature market now. We're looking at 20% drops pretty frequently. 20% drop would bring us down to 36 to 38, which is exactly where they were talking about, which I think is in this article. Nope, it's in this one right here. 36 to 38 in January. Could absolutely happen. Would totally make sense from a technical analysis standpoint. Gets on my ever-loving nerves that Matrixport got a lot of its technical analysis right, but then called for two different things at the exact same time, confusing everybody. No wonder if everybody was listening to Matrixport that they're in a bunch of longs. Matrixport themselves said 2 days ago, like barely even 2 days ago, 36 hours ago, you must immediately buy the market. 50K by weekend. No wonder you had $537 million in longs. They're listening to you, Matrixport. That's why they were there. Okay? We've got to be really careful with the analysis, guys. I'm an analyst. This is why I'm so careful. I try to be so careful. And I will. I'll put all caps in the title. I will do something in a title to get you in the door. But you know what? I will never mislead you. Not intentionally. I will always do my very, very best to protect you. Because what I say as an analyst, I know that people are going to trade on with thousands or tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is money that could be given to charities. That is money that could be put in a trust fund for your kids. That is money that could be used to pay off your house. And if I'm not careful and you guys make trades based off of that analysis that I'm doing and what I said was irresponsible, then that's egg on my face in a way. Ultimately, we're all responsible for our own trades, and you are too. But if I accidentally say something or contradict myself in some way and I'm not careful, that is going to make me look like a fool, and more importantly, it's going to hurt you. It's one of the things that gets on my nerves about Matrixport. This is not some random tiny little YouTuber that just started. This is not me 6 years ago when I first started, where, I normally would do my very best not to contradict myself unless there was new information, and then in which case you have to develop and grow. But this is not some nobody. This is a big company, guys, that has a lot of the analysis right. I agree with a lot of their numbers. I agree with a lot of their rationale. But to make the call that you must go into a trade in both directions splits hairs and costs people money. And it just breaks my heart. And we need to be careful. All right. Why are you getting so agitated? Because of this. This is why I'm agitated. I'm agitated. I'll admit it, and maybe I shouldn't be. I'm sorry. This is why I'm agitated. Just zoom in right there. $537 million in long liquidations. And you know what? Those people that got liquidated should not be pointing the finger at Matrixport right now. They should be pointing the finger at themselves for not having a stop loss. But at the same time, if they did have a stop loss and they did their part, and then somebody manipulates the market and all of their technical analysis was telling them it was going to go up, because much of the technical analysis was bullish 24 hours ago, and then this happened, then yeah, that would get on. That would be very unfortunate as well. So please be very careful. Somebody said Matrixport got a lot of advertising for the market manipulation they did today. I don't know for sure that they were trying to manipulate the market. I can't tell you for sure that they were trying to manipulate the market. I'm not going to accuse them of that because I don't know for certain that that's what they were trying to do. But nevertheless, it did end up manipulating the market. It did end up moving the market quite substantially. So let's talk a little bit about CoinMarketCap. Sneeze real quick. Something you'll learn about us McAfees. We never only sneeze once. Sorry about that. It's been a long time since I've sneezed on stream. Let's talk a little bit about our different altcoins and different positions, because I'm actually very excited about this drop for the sake of my own portfolio. This doesn't bother me a bit. I wasn't in a long trade. This is actually very exciting for me. I'm disappointed for the sake of the people that got liquidated that otherwise may not have. Bitcoin's at 42.5. Ethereum's at 2222. Pretty solid drop right there. Binance, not really dropping too much. Solana's down 10% in 24 hours. It's been needing a correction anyway, so this was a good thing for it. We've seen XRP is sitting at 56 cents. It's down 9.41% over the last 24 hours. Cardano's down 10%. Avalanche down 11%. Dogecoin down 10%. Polkadot down 10%. Tron down 4%. Polygon down 13.43%. Chainlink down 9.39%. Toncoin down 4.1%. I'm sorry, I should have said Toncoin down a ton. I'm just kidding. Toncoin down 8.14%. ICP has rallied briefly over the last 24 hours. Sheeb's down. Uniswap's down. Cosmos is down. Near Protocol is down. Let's see. Filecoin's down. Everything's down about 6 to 10%. Market-wide correction. And I'm pretty excited about that because that gives us better buying opportunities. Many of these coins are very solid investments, and I do believe that they will perform very, very well in the coming bull market. But in the coming bull market, they are going to need to have, you're going to want to have been able to invest in them during this time. Times like this is where you want to be able to invest in these cryptocurrencies, because there are times like this where there are great opportunities that you want to be able to load up your bags. You want to be able to look and see what I'm able to see right now, where you have an average cost basis on Solana of like 72.57. Now, we bought some up at 100. We bought some down at 60. It averages out, and then you've got a pretty solid average cost basis. It's very easy for that position to be in profit. You want to load up your bags now because a major bull market is coming. Listen, guys, I do financial coaching every once in a while, and I really enjoy sitting down and talking to people. I had a call yesterday. Won't get into any of the details. That's all 100% purely confidential, but it's very exciting to see you guys succeeding in the cryptocurrency space. And one of the things I like to encourage you guys in on every forum is to set up a investment portfolio where you are buying into things that are low risk but will still bring high returns. My overall investment thesis is thus: if you are able to mitigate risk and maximize return, then you will set up for yourself an investment portfolio with a very high risk-reward ratio, and I think you can pretty easily find 5 to 10x returns here in the cryptocurrency space in the next 18 months. I think it's very, very easy to do, actually, and the way you do it is by essentially buying the total market capitalization charts. If you're over on TradingView, you can go to total. It's market cap, put together by CryptoCap. This is the total market cap charts. This is the cryptocurrency market's equivalent of the S&P 500, which, by the way, the S&P 500 is correcting over the last 24 hours, this week so far, actually. So that's likely had something to do with Bitcoin's drop too. But if you go to total, this is essentially the cryptocurrency's equivalent of the S&P 500. This is the overall market and its growth. And you can see that, not counting this correction we've just seen, crypto rallied 70% in 90 days. To where it is right now, it's up about 56%. If you're able to buy this chart, you'd be doing pretty well for yourself. It evens out. It's got low risk, but still has much of the reward. The problem is this doesn't exist. You can't buy total. It's not a thing. Okay, so that it does in the stock market, you can buy the S&P 500. Somebody came together, Standard & Poor, came together, put together the S&P 500, and you can go buy that ETF. You can't do that with total. It doesn't exist yet. By the way, though, one day that will come. And when that comes, crypto will be worth $15 to $20 trillion in market cap. Okay? All right. One day, there will be enough ETFs in the top 20 or 30 that somebody will put together the equivalent of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the predecessor to the S&P 500 of the top 12 to 15 cryptocurrencies. And that index will make people millionaires, especially the people that create it. For now, though, that doesn't exist. So if you want to build this investment portfolio that does this, just straight up and to the right, and is generally a pretty smooth investment following the bull market and the bear market, same way that you would invest in the S&P 500 as your basis of investment, then what you want to do is you want to dollar cost average into the majority of the top 30. That's Bitcoin, that's Ethereum, that's Binance, Solana, XRP, Cardano, Avalanche, Dogecoin, Polygon, Tron, Chainlink, Toncoin, ICP, Sheeb, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Uniswap, Cosmos, Unisat, Leo, Near Protocol, Stellar, OKB, Filecoin, Optimism, Hedera, and Monero. Minus a few. I personally don't hold any Bitcoin Cash. I did buy a little bit of Litecoin because it actually is a good way to go back to all-time high, so I caved. I bought some. I know I told you guys I wasn't going to, but I decided I would. I haven't bought any Tron yet. I want to. I'm pausing on Avalanche for right now. Haven't bought any Binance yet. I want to get some, though. I think it's going to perform very well. But if you buy the overall market and weight your investment based on its market capitalization, you can essentially buy this chart. This chart will likely go to at least $5 trillion, probably higher. If it goes to $5 trillion, that's a 200% return. I think it's actually going to go to more like $8 trillion to $10 trillion. That is a 374% return to about a 500% return. I think if you throw a few smaller cap altcoins in there and get lucky a few times, you can get more than 5x in the next 15 to 18 months. And that's how you're going to make a lot of money in the cryptocurrency space. So, with that investment thesis in mind, this correction should not freak you out very much because it gives you the opportunity to buy in lower. I didn't show you this news story earlier, but we've actually got a report coming out that Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy are selling stocks. Let me see if I can actually pull that up. They do this quite often. MicroStrategy, Saylor selling $216 million. Yes, in the company shares. Why do they do this? Why? I know why. I've met this guy. I've interviewed him. We've got a video on the channel where I interviewed this fella. He's a very intelligent man. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's made a lot of money for it. The guy's been in business for over 30 years. Why did they just sell $216 million of the company's shares? Well, Bitcoin is about to go into a giant bull market, and MicroStrategy just made bank because their market capitalization is moonshot. They're up 443%. Of course he's selling shares. So Saylor sold some shares, and what's he going to do with that money? What's he going to do with the $216 million? Is he going to go buy a new boat? No, not unless it's in a giant glass bottle. Tell me if you get that reference. What's he going to do with it? You know what he's going to do with it. He's going to dump it into Bitcoin. We just saw an acquisition of, 18,000 Bitcoin? He's selling the shares so that he can buy Bitcoin. That, by the way, ought to tell you something. Right there. If you're talking about buying MicroStrategy. If your plan is to buy MicroStrategy, the stock, just keep in mind that the owner of the stock, and I don't mean the owner as in he holds some of the stock, I mean the guy that founded the stock. So, he's literally the foremost expert on this stock. There's no greater expert in the entire world on MicroStrategy stock than Michael Saylor himself. He just sold this stock, and what's he going to do with it? I can virtually guarantee you the man's about to go buy Bitcoin. This dude is cuckoo for Bitcoin. He is cuckoo for his crypto puffs. This man loves himself some Bitcoin. He's a Bitcoin maxi. He's not a big fan of the altcoins, and I think he's missing something there, but the guy runs a multi-billion-dollar company. If he wants to keep it simple and just work in Bitcoin, then by all means, my friend, we appreciate the investment. But that money's likely coming. Would you remember with me how Matrixport mentioned that there was, I don't remember where it was, I think it was right over here, at least $14 billion of extra fiat and leverage have been deployed into crypto. $14 billion. $216 million. $14 billion, Matrixport, who again has some decent analysis, they just kind of confused everybody with their conflicting reports. They say about $14 billion caused a $20,000 movement on Bitcoin. What do you think Michael Saylor could do? Locking up $216 million of company shares. Now, he's not going to buy this on exchange. This will be bought over the counter, so let's be clear on that. That's $216 million of Bitcoin that'll almost certainly be bought within the next couple of months over the counter. Again, not directly impacting the price, but it will impact the supply and demand economics of Bitcoin. It will make Bitcoin more scarce because this Bitcoin is probably going to be locked up for a very long time. How is that going to impact Bitcoin? It's likely going to cause a major rally. So with all that said, let's talk a little bit about the actual price action of Bitcoin. Let's do some technical analysis and move through our predictions on where Bitcoin is going to go next. Now, we've been doing technical analysis on this segment of the market for quite some time, and we have commonly referred back to this uptrending level of support and this symmetrical triangle pattern that we saw right here. And if you'll remember yesterday, I talked about how we're in a very similar pattern. Symmetrical triangle pattern, ascending triangle pattern, flat resistance, uptrending level of support, and we broke bullish above it, and we could come back down and backtest this uptrend once again. We talked about how that is a possibility and how it very well may happen. We've seen that happen multiple times over here where we broke back up above the level. Just kind of zoom in here so you can see this, especially if you're on your phone or something. We broke up above our resistance level at $38,000, as you can see right here. Broke above $38,000. Fell back through the resistance, back tested the uptrend, and then we bounced and rallied. Did the same thing a second time, and then we actually went through the breakout. I was wondering yesterday, and it seems I'm getting my answer today. I was wondering yesterday if we were going to see something similar happen to Bitcoin, where we're seeing this breakout, but it's not really a very big breakout. This was just under my skin yesterday. The Bitcoin broke out, but it's only like $1,000 higher than the previous high. Bitcoin didn't just giant green lightsaber up to 50K like many people were thinking. And I was wondering if it would do that in the first place because it just didn't show a lot of the strength. Was it going to fall back over? And lo and behold, that's what happened. Now, of course, we had a Matrixport report come out that helped along with that. But it does remind me quite a bit of this movement over here, where we had an initial breakout, didn't work out. Second breakout didn't work out. Third time's the charm. We broke out and we rallied like $7,000. The good news about this correction is that so far, anyway, Bitcoin is largely holding on this uptrending level of support. This uptrending level of support has been in play for over 13 months, about 12 months. This uptrending level of support is right here. It's been in play since December of last year. No, the year before, December of 2022. The fact that we're still holding above this uptrend is very good news. And I do believe that there's a good opportunity that we will. We fell below this uptrend and we wicked down there, and there was a ton of buy pressure. We held at 40,600. Now, according to Matrixport, and I would actually agree with them, a $36,000 to a $38,000 Bitcoin is in the cards. The reason for that is it would be about an 18 to 20,000, 18 to 20% corrective movement. A correction down into one of these zones right here. This top zone is the CME futures gap, which means we could wick down into the 36 to 38K region. Would make sense also, not just because of the 20% thing, but also because that's where we have a huge amount of VRVP support down here. Okay, so again, Matrixport got this right. They got this right. There is a significant amount of support down here from the VRVP. So 36 to 38K is a good zone to talk about. This is a very, very good zone to talk about, 36 to 38. But even if we do drop down there, so what? Bitcoin drops to 36 to 38. Solana drops down to 80. Cardano drops down to 48 cents. Whatever. Buy more. Listen, people want to complicate this. People want to make this so complicated. And a lot of times, when you understand something very well, it makes it easier to simplify it. And that's one of the things I like about being a teacher, is because I am a teacher. That's my job. I teach technical analysis. I am a technical analyst. And I teach you guys in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. I've taught over 5,000 students how to do technical analysis in CT2A. You can find a link for that with the link in the description box down below. But one of the things I like about being a teacher is that you get to simplify things. And I want to simplify how you're going to make money in cryptocurrency in 2024. You're going to say, Jeb, that's stupid. That's too simple. No, it's not too simple. Start here, and then if you want to get fancy, then get fancy. But I know so many people, they're like, oh, I don't want to buy Bitcoin. I don't want to buy top altcoins. No, I want to go all in on this rank number 90 coin. nobody's ever heard of. I want to go all in on this one project. I'm going to dump $10,000 into that. I'm not thinking of anybody in particular. I'm just kind of giving you an example. Here's how you make money. Let me just whoosh, clear away the clouds, right? You know, in those movies, you got like the master sensei. He's like, whoosh, he's like, wow, that was cool, right? Whoosh, let's make it simple. Clear blue skies. It's gonna be easy. All right. Buy Bitcoin from levels of complexity and foundation up. Simple to complicated. Foundational to the roof. Foundational, simple. Here's what you do. If you're getting into crypto, you don't know what to do, here's what you do. Buy Bitcoin every Friday. Buy an amount that is enough that it's going to make a difference if it 3 or 4x's in your life, but not so much that is really going to impact your quality of life too much. If you're just getting started and you don't know what crypto is, and you're just here for the first time, you're here at our channel for the first time, you are hearing crypto for the first time, sign up for Coinbase. Buy Bitcoin every Friday. You can set up a recurring buy over there. Buy Bitcoin every Friday. Now, you want to get a little bit more complicated. You want to get a little bit more fancy. Jeb, I got more money than that. I want to get a little bit more tricky. Here's the next thing you do. You ready for this? You sure? I'm going to blow your mind. Buy Ethereum every Friday, too. Did he just say that? I did. I said it. Buy Bitcoin and Ethereum every Friday. Whew. Man, we're getting tricky now. We're getting tricky with it. All right, but Jeb, that's not enough for me. I'm really, really, really excited about this 5 to 10x thing. This 3, 5, 10x thing you're talking about in 2024. ETFs coming. Huge amount of investments coming in. Altcoin season's coming. We're going to make a bunch of money. Jeb, I need more than that. I can't just hold on to Bitcoin and ETH. I want more. All right. You ready for this? You ready for this? It's going to be simple. It's going to blow your mind. You ready for this? Buy Solana, XRP, and Cardano every Friday. Oh my goodness, man. We're really getting complicated now. Now you got a 5-coin portfolio. And the only reason I didn't include Binance in there is because Binance is not on Coinbase. And if you're a noob, start on Coinbase. All right? If you have access to Binance, throw Binance in there and you'll have a 5 to 6 coin portfolio. That is your basic index fund for the cryptocurrency market. Bitcoin, ETH, Binance, Solana, XRP, and Cardano. But Jeb, that's not enough. Jeb, that's not enough. I want more. All right, run down the list. Throw a little bit of Avalanche in there. Throw a little bit of Dogecoin in there. Polkadot, Tron, Polygon, Chainlink, ICP, Toncoin's okay. Maybe a little bit of Litecoin. Maybe some Uniswap. Uniswap's a great pick. It is the largest DEX in the entire known universe. Cosmos, you can stake it for like 11%. Great protocol for that. Near Protocol doing a great job. There you go. Buy the top 20, top 30. Awesome. Jeb, this is something I can manage. This is something that I am going to actually be able to do. But Jeb, I want a little bit more. All right. I got it. I understand. You want a little bit more. At this point that you bought the top 15 to the top 30 or so, you basically built the cryptocurrency equivalent of the S&P 500. This is a portfolio that you can hold on to for 12 to 18 months. How do you liquidate it? Once you get to all-time high, sell half of it, let the other half ride, and then as you see each one of them pop off, then boom, every Friday you're checking in. All right, looks pretty high. I'm on sell. You don't have to get super complicated with it. Show of hands. Let me see a 1 in chat. How many of you guys have less than 2 hours a week to worry about cryptocurrency? How many of you have less than 2 hours a week to think about crypto because you got a wife or a husband, you got kids, you have a business, you have a job, you have a family, you have a church community, you've got this, that, and the third, and you don't have all day? I have an unfair advantage here. I do crypto 24/7. Well, it's not 24/7, but as a full-time job, right? Sometimes my wife feels like I do it 24/7. I look at crypto all day. I have the unfair advantage of being able to look around all day long at cryptos. You don't have that. You need something simple. It's going to make you money. It's going to change your life. That you don't have to micromanage. Buy the top 15 to the top 30. That's complex enough that you're going to diversify your risk profile while also still bringing about some large returns. And it also sets you up in a position where you have a portfolio that you can sell later on in the bull market. Once you get to all-time high on many of those coins, sell half, sell 30%, sell 70%, whatever. You pick the number. Gets to all-time high, take out the cap, take out the principal. Run on house money, make some money. Okay? You guys are going to do well doing that. That's how you make money. Now listen, did I talk about Matrixport in that? No. I talk about the immediate short-term price of Bitcoin in that. No. Do you need to be able to read technical analysis to know what coins are good coins to buy? Yes, you do need to learn technical analysis. I want to keep things as simple for you as possible because I know you got a full-time job. I know you got a life. I know you probably have a wife. You probably have kids. Statistically speaking, many of the people that watch this channel are between the age of about 30 and 50, 30 and 55, which means and about 96% of you are men. You probably got a wife. You probably got some kids. You probably got a lot going on in your life, and you probably don't have all day to look at all this. You're probably not what crypto would call a degen, right? You're probably trying to figure out how to retire. You're probably trying to figure out how to pay off your house so you don't have that giant payment anymore. You're probably trying to figure out how to get out of that upside-down loan that you're in. You're probably trying to figure out how to get out of student loan debt. You're probably trying to figure out how to not lose money every month. You're probably trying to figure out how to not have to ask for help every month. Whatever it is, I want to make it simple for you. Buy the top 15, buy the top 30, do it on a recurring basis. I would recommend every Friday. You can do it once a month, but I think that's a little too infrequent. And from there, make sure that you're in a position where you can look at it once a week, and then when the all-time highs come, say, all right, cashing out half, great. Now you got some profits, and then you have house money that you can let run. We didn't talk. The one thing that you do need to be able to do that profitably is technical analysis. You need to be able to read the charts. You need to be able to read the charts and see what they're saying. If you cannot read the charts and know what they're saying, then you're going to be missing out on great opportunities because there's a lot that you can learn from the actual technical analysis. If you guys have not already signed up for the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, you absolutely should. We have helped over 5,000 students and counting, getting close to 6,000 students now. We've helped over 5,000 students and counting learn how to analyze cryptocurrency markets via the art and the science of technical analysis. This right here is the academy that has been around for the longest, teaching you everything that you need to know about technical analysis. We've got over 45 videos and over 10 hours of high-quality educational content based on my 6 years of experience in the cryptocurrency space using technical analysis every day to inform my investments. If you have not already signed up for CT2A, I believe that you're missing out on a great opportunity to learn the most important skill. And I don't say that lightly. I do mean the most important skill that you will ever learn to be successful in investment. Period. It is the single most important skill that you will ever learn in investment. Period. And the reason is very simply, if you're trying to invest in the price of an asset, then you need to understand what the price of that asset is telling you. Edward Dow, the founder of the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the Wall Street Journal, founded something called Dow theory, which later became known as technical analysis. Dow theory states that the prices average everything, which basically means that if something impacts the price, then it will show up in the price. The price of a stock was the internet before the internet was a thing, because it carried with it all of the information that was relevant to that security. Cryptocurrency comes around in the late 2010s, and the exact same thing happens. It has a price, and with that price carries all of the information that is relevant to that asset. Because if something impacts the price of the asset, it's going to show up in the price of the asset. It averages out. It downloads all of the relevant information. The price of Bitcoin is an aggregate of every single thing that has ever happened in the history of the market that impacted the price. And so if you learn how to read that market, if you learn how to read the price, you will learn how to read everything that is impacting the price of that asset. And I firmly believe that CT2A is the single best place in the entire industry to go and learn technical analysis. That's what our students say. Any CT2A alumni in chat, raise your hand. Let us know what you think about it. Good, bad, ugly. I am totally fine with honest feedback because it's an ever-evolving product and we're going to continue putting content in it. But if you have not already, check it out. Links it down below. Research Caspa, though. I am looking into Caspa. I am looking into getting some of it. I'm very excited about Caspa. I think it's going to do very well. All right. And look at that. Bitcoin is pumping, somebody said. Yeah, I mean, look, Matrixport didn't actually put out anything new. Everything they said, we already knew. Everything they said was stuff we were already talking about on the channel. If you've watched our channel, everything from that Matrixport report has already shown up. So, yeah, I mean, could we go to 36 to 38? Sure. Is that where we're going? Not necessarily. I'm not worried about this drop at all. Like, at all. Let's read some chat. Matrixport needs to take class from Jeb at the Academy. Thank you, Pete Schwartz. Shadrach Frost said, I love CT2A. Thank you, Shadrach. I really appreciate that. ICP is best crypto, does it all. Pretty excited about my ICP. I got in at like $7. Market manipulation from Matrixport. I don't know if they were trying to manipulate the market, but they did. They did manipulate the market, even if they weren't trying to. I can't ascribe motive there where I don't know for sure it is there. But it certainly did end up being market manipulation. Dropped internet connection said, Jeb, when is your trading algorithm with Lux Algo going to be ready? I'm not quite sure. I don't know the delivery on that, but I do believe that it's going to be coming somewhat soon. I will look into that. All right. Caspa can actually be scalable P2P cash that Bitcoin promised to be. Yeah, a lot of people are very excited about Caspa. It's starting to grow kind of a Cardano-like, following behind it. People are loving that project, and that's very exciting when you have a community behind something that is really excited about it. All right. Oh, the crypto analyst life. Yes, for sure. Oh, we had a super chat. I'm so sorry. PJ Cornell donated $10. Said newbies. 1/3 Bitcoin, 1/3 ETH, 1/3 everything else. Buy once a week. On the everything else, research one alt and buy it if you're convinced. If not, pick a different one. Yeah, basically. If you're a noob, perfect is the enemy of great. And if you're trying to get perfect and you're trying to time the market and you're trying to get in at the perfect time, you're trying to get out of the perfect time, you're trying to pick the perfect altcoin, you are making a mistake. There is a principle, and I'm sure that there's a name for this. And if you know the name for it, please tell me, because I would love to be able to quote this. But there is a principle in business and in life where if you tunnel vision on trying to get one thing perfect, then you end up neglecting so many other things. For example, if you're trying to clean a house, if you get so tunnel vision on getting every single piece of grime off of your countertops, you neglect the rest of the house, the whole rest of the house go to pot. In a business, if you try and focus so heavily on getting one little vertical perfect, like if, let's just say that I was super adamant about the thumbnails being perfect on Coffee and Crypto, and I need to do better about the thumbnails. You guys know that. It's an unsaid understanding that we all have. If I was so anal about getting that perfect that I neglected to actually do the stream, we wouldn't have 1,400 people watching right now. You know what the thumbnail on this stream, this is like the 4th time I've used this thumbnail. Yeah, I need to do better about that. I'm humble enough to admit it. But I'm not tunnel visioning on getting everything perfect. I'm trying to get the whole system working good. It's a good stream. Yes, there are a lot of things that I want to make a lot better about it, including the thumbnails. But you're here, and I'm able to share with you the content. That was my thesis when I started doing the phone videos. And I thought at first, oh, these phone videos, they're not even edited. I'm just literally shooting them and uploading them. But the thing that was important there is the integral thesis that you guys came to see what I have to say. I don't need to edit the video for you guys to hear what I came to say. Shoot a phone video, upload it. I don't have the editing capacity right now because we're working on doing a bunch of things on that to be able to edit more videos. So I'll shoot a video. Those videos average like 17,000 views. You guys love them. Because I wasn't focused on getting everything perfect to the point where it never got done in the first place. My point. In crypto, it's very easy to say, I'm going to focus on timing everything. I'm going to get in the exact right moment on this coin. I'm going to get out at the exact right moment. I'm going to pick the exact right coin. I'm going to make sure that I add 2 Satoshis to my position this week because I'm a little bit out of balance. You're overcomplicating it. Get in the market. Get in the market. Let's see. Don't need to edit when you have so much wisdom. I want more. I love it. I'm seeing crypto streams getting 400 to 500 more people this week than last week. Welcome, new people. You're still early. Yes. Enrique Suave, who's been a long-term supporter of the channel. Absolutely. You're still early. Plus, if you try and just slice the pie perfectly every week, you'll lose too much to slippage. 3 buys a week, very little slippage. Yep. Love to see you have emotions. I do, believe it or not. I'm not just this robot that goes on air every day. I'm a real person. Yeah, and we are pumping right now. It's very exciting. We're going to have to wrap it out pretty soon. If you guys are new here, consider hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel. If you have not already, we've got a lot of content coming out. Very excited for everything that we're going to be able to do together, guys. If you guys have not already, by the way, make sure to sign up for CT2A and also make sure to sign up for NordVPN. You can find both links in the description box down below. Huge discounts down there that you're not going to find elsewhere. So make sure that you go ahead and do that. Crypto Jeb, can Lux Algo also include the inverse Kramer indicator? Yeah, that, counter trading Kramer, that sounds pretty funny right there. Let's see. Matrixport is a robot. We're not early in this cycle. We're definitely not early. I'd say we're still very early. I'd say there's a lot more to come. I don't think that this cycle has even really started kicking off just yet. I think Bitcoin's going to go back to all-time high. The newbie asks, what's the slippage? Well, let me see if I can get a technical definition of this. I can try and explain it, but let's see if I can have a definition here to go by based off. The action or process of something slipping or subsiding, the amount of the extent of this. Going to be the standard deadline. So, well, that's not very helpful. Basically, slippage in finance is the difference between the expected price of the trade and the price that you actually got the trade at. So sometimes when you place the order, the time that it takes for the trade to execute can lead to a slightly different price than what you intended. Sometimes exchanges will bake slippage in, and it's basically a invisible fee. Coinbase does that to the tune of 1.5% when you buy on the forward-facing app. They don't do it as much when you are on Coinbase Pro, but it's actually normally one of the ways that an exchange taxes you, to be honest with you. Is there going to be a big crash once the ETF is approved? I don't think so. I think that it's going to actually rally very, very far. So the Matrixport report was wrong. Not exactly. It was misleading because they called for two different things at the exact same time. They called for buying and selling at the exact same time. That and fees, PJ Cornell said, yes. People need to realize that the dollar is worth half of what it was during the last cycle. This cycle will melt faces. Yes, we're going to see a huge rally. I agree. Let's see. Usually the herd is wrong. Yep. ETF will mark the top. I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Hey, Jeb. God bless Jeb in chat. Yes, absolutely. Christopher Ryans. Thank you. All right. Well, I hope that you guys have enjoyed today's stream. We are about 18 minutes over, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it out because I've got a lot of content to go and work on. But if you enjoyed today's stream, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel, hit the post notification bell so you won't miss a single upload from the channel, and also make sure to check out some of our affiliates and sponsors down below. Many of them are going to help you to succeed in the cryptocurrency space. NordVPN is going to help you to be secure, and today's episode is brought to you by NordVPN, so make sure to check them out down below. They're going to help you to browse the internet safely and freely. Make sure to sign up for CT2A because you're going to learn how to do technical analysis so that you can read the markets, see where they're going, and make informed, profitable investments and trades. And also make sure to sign up for Lux Algo so that you can get access to award-winning, industry-leading technical indicators that are going to help you to make profitable trades and investments. I am going to go ahead and wrap it out. Before I go, though, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.